Here's another update on the garden. In many cases things have remained the same, in others they've changed quite a bit. Here we have the Kentucky Wonder Beans. These I have been very impressed with. They are very, very prolific and are growing very well. You can notice I had some deficiencies here, which I have dealt with by going to two sources, the Mittleider Gardening Course book and the Garden Doctor. I went to the Mittleider Gardening Course to tell me what the problems were verbally, and then I went to the Garden Doctor book series so I could see visually what the problems were. But you can see the new growth on this plant looks absolutely great. The old growth, you can see where in this case I had a magnesium deficiency. So by using those two books, I was able to quickly diagnose and treat exactly the specific problem that the plants had. This is one of the biggest concerns I've had as a gardener is, what do I do when something goes wrong? And often in the past, I didn't know. And what we thought was, for example, blight wasn't blight at all. It was nutrient deficiency. This is about a 13-pound watermelon grown so far. I lost one of my suspending watermelon. It cracked open. I don't know if it was from too much water or whatever, but anyway, that one's gone. The avocado tree is still looking good and still producing nice avocados. This is about a 3-year-old tree. Now you can look at some other videos I've had before this on the avocado tree. I just harvested 195 pounds of honey from this and that hive. I didn't take anything out of that hive because it's a new hive. You can see I've got some boxes there that I have out that the bees were cleaning up. Things seem to have slowed down, but as far as producing fruit, this is where I lost the watermelon right here. And that's the tip of that plant, so I don't know what's going to happen to that plant. Maybe it'll grow new vines out the side, like this right here, and we'll get some more watermelon. I've harvested a cantaloupe, and it was amazing. I'm having some more this morning for breakfast. There's another hanging watermelon. Isn't it crazy just seeing these watermelon just hanging there? And these cantaloupe? But they do, and when they change color, they will slip off and go onto the breakfast table. It's already producing some more cantaloupe. I like to keep it down to 2 or 3 cantaloupe at a time. Again, I had a deficiency here, as I had mentioned in my previous video on plant nutrient deficiencies, and you can see the new leaves here look great. Absolutely no deficiency symptoms. So the old leaves are going to be that way, but the new leaves are going to look great. Here are some cucumbers. These are ready to be harvested. Well, I've got 3 of them on here, and those will get picked today. Here's some more cucumbers. And this plant has really come back since I've given it the magnesium, the potassium, and the nitrogen that it needs. There's a bunch of new growth here on this one, just bursting with new life. So I'm very happy with things. My yellow golden bell peppers have started to turn color. They're absolutely gorgeous. Very happy with these. Never planted these before, and very happy with the color and the production. I had to tie some more branches up because they were falling down from the weight of the peppers. I believe this is sun scald, but nothing to be worried about. It's just limited to that one section. And you can see this one is just beginning to turn its color, so that's nice. We've got some nice deep red beauty bell peppers here too, looking good. Again, little sun scald on this side here. Sweet potatoes continue to overcome the entire bed, so I'm just letting them grow. And what I actually did is I came over here with the runners after I removed the red potatoes, and I took these runners and I buried them underneath the ground here just by putting soil on top of them, and hopefully that will help them root more, and definitely they are rooting, and hopefully it will produce more potatoes that way. Here you can see another deficiency in the plant in the old leaves, but you come up to the new leaves, which happen to be way over the canopy here, and the new leaves look fantastic. So if you have deficiencies in your plants, or what you think may be diseases, you probably have a deficiency simply because the plants take up so much nutrients from the ground, regardless of what the ground is. Now here is my zucchini that I thought was cantaloupe. It has been 3 weeks or more since we came back from the Alaska cruise, and noticed that I had vine borer damage, and a lot of it. Let me get down here and show you the vine borer damage that I have. If I can get through this jungle of leaves, let's see, down here, this plant just keeps on, or these plants just keep on growing. But that is some severe vine borer damage. And what I did do, and I have another video on this, I'm waiting for another couple more weeks to see what happens, is I took a syringe and some BT, some thoricide, I'll have a link below, and squirted that with a hypodermic needle into the tubes here, and it seems to have stopped the vine borer. And these plants are just growing like crazy and producing zucchini. They're extremely healthy. Now this time last year when I tried zucchini, everything was dying off because of white powdery mildew, and that was because I didn't have proper ventilation. But as you can see, I don't have that problem this year. I'm following everything to the Mittleider method, which doesn't mean you won't ever have any problems, but you'll have opportunities to learn new skills and detect and treat for problems, and because you'll have the information either from the Mittleider Facebook group or from the books that you have, because they are so information packed. Here are my tomatoes. Again, you see previous magnesium deficiency down here, but you come up to the top leaves and everything is looking good. Good to a point. I do have a problem. My tomatoes are growing up through the top of the canopy, and I'm trying to decide whether I need to tip them or whether to just kind of bend them down. I'm not sure what to do, but we're really only at the beginning of the harvesting season here in June, and we've got a lot more growing to do. Show you, there's the green beans up there ready to start producing. You can see all the flowers there ready to start producing fruit. Do want to show you, I just sprayed with thoricide, which is BT, because I saw some poop. Here is some poop right here. I have not seen any worms this year. This is for poop from what I believe is the tomato hornworm, and whenever I see that poop, those little tiny black dots, I immediately spray with BT. I put in 3 teaspoons, or really 1 tablespoon of thoricide in a gallon of water as per instructions, and spray that on the plants. And so far that has really controlled the BT problem. Here is a sucker going right here. See that? Right here in the corner. And so that needs to come right off. I just snap it, just like that. I've been very impressed with the Arkansas Traveler tomato. It's not a deep red tomato, but it has great flavor and it is a good producer. Something to consider, and that's one reason why I'm growing all these different varieties, is to give you an idea what I find that works well. These grape tomatoes are awesome. Of course, my favorite out of the whole group here are the sun sugar tomatoes. You won't find many of them on the plant because as soon as they start turning color, we pick them, and honestly, very few have gotten into the house because they are so delicious. It's like eating candy. So if you want a nice sweet tomato, and you can see it's very prolific here, this is a great tomato to look into, and this is called the sun sugar tomato. The Whopper has been a pretty clean producer. It has a very nice looking tomato, and you can see it, we have several tomatoes on the plant here right now, and we've harvested a lot. This is a beefsteak tomato. I'm not sure whether I've done a good job here. It looks like this got broken, so there's a tip just came off there. Now if I wanted to, I could take this tip and just stick it in the ground and see if I could grow another tomato. And I might, if I really like this tomato, but I really haven't been too excited about this tomato plant. So I'm not going to plant that in the ground. But if I were to plant this in the ground, what I would do is, let me just show you. I'd take that off, I take this sucker off. I take that off. And literally all I would do is move this aside, get that weed out, move that to the side, plant this all the way down here, give it a little bit of nitrogen. Kind of hard to do with one hand, sorry. And water it in. I like to water my transplants 3 or 4 times a day just to keep the soil moist, and then I'd have a new plant growing. That easy. I could even take these off if I wanted to, but I'm not sure whether that's enough foliage. But that's all there is. If you want to continue your tomatoes, and because you like a particular variety, just let one of those suckers grow, and you don't have to plant seeds inside. You just let one sucker grow, and you've got a nice healthy plant. Once it says, you know, 8, 9, 10, 12 inches long, cut it off. Or if you want to go sooner, cut it off and put it in the ground. Here we have a tip that broke off again, and we have a sucker growing here. So I will let this sucker grow and become the new growing tip for this tomato plant. Over here in my wife's garden, she's got some bell peppers coming on, and she's got some Anaheim chilies. She has already harvested from them. She's got some few more tomatoes growing here. And these, if you believe it or not, are sweet Chelsea cherry tomatoes. They are the largest cherry I've ever seen, if that's a cherry tomato. But anyway, if you want a large cherry tomato or a small tomato, you might give that one a try. We've had some fun with these black cherry tomatoes. They're actually quite colorful. It's like a deep chocolate color. Here we have some Boxcar Willie heirloom tomatoes growing. You can see we've had bird problems getting in here, and so you notice we have the netting everywhere. This is actually animal netting. She's having quite a bit of difficulty with the birds getting into her plants. I think it's more of a secure the netting problem, because I'm using the same netting, and I really haven't had a problem since I put it down and using the 2x2s as a weight. Then over here, the Annalise tomato, she really likes the flavor of the Annalise. This is a hybrid. As you can see, she's got severe magnesium deficiency and calcium. She treated those yesterday. These are Rutgers. Some of these are getting ready to pick, and some of them are just coming on. Even though we've been in the hundreds, the tomatoes are still setting fruit. Jim Kenner, the master Mittleider gardening instructor, said that if there's a 15-degree difference between morning and night, that the tomatoes will set fruit, and that is what we're experiencing in my garden and my wife's garden. My wife just released, I think, our 10th or 11th bird from inside of the blackberry bushes. They are really, really after the blackberries. So we will be draping a lot of these plants with fabric today to help keep the birds out. If they can't see it, they won't eat it, hopefully, and we'll secure it so they can't get inside. I took this plant to the Montgomery County Beekeepers Association last night and took off a lot of cuttings. This is the African blue basil. I highly recommend, if you can find one, to get some cuttings and start growing. This is the plant that our bees absolutely love. And as you can see over here, my wife, Malabar spinach, has come up. She's taken out the strawberries, and the idea is that these Malabar spinach plants will grow up this cattle panel, and she will be making a nice canopy over this area. This is LDS Prepper reminding you, if you are prepared, you shall not fear. And one of the most enjoyable things I do every day is come out to the garden and enjoy God's creations. He's really blessed our efforts, and we're grateful and share it with others. Hopefully you can do the same.